Okay, so first of all, thank you both for taking the time to talk to me. Now, I have, as I was saying to you guys before, I saw the play yesterday, and I don't want to give away too much, but I really loved it. I thought it was really good, very different from what I would say I've never seen anything quite like it before.
Mm.
And when I went to go and when I was like looking at the write-up, I was like, well, what is it even about? Like I couldn't understand because the write-up is so small. It just says
Yeah.
it's like a minstrel show bit, and I was like, okay, what's going on? So I think everyone and people have asked me since, what is the play about? And I kind of don't want to give everything away, but I would like you guys to tell us what the play, in a nutshell, is about.
Woo.
I guess now you know why they didn't write very much because it is actually it's a really hard play to sum up. And also for people who want to come and see it, we don't want to give away any spoilers, but the spoilers are part of the story, are part of the narrative. So as soon as you start getting into the story, but I guess what we usually tell people is the elements that are in it. So it has elements of minstrelsy, it has elements of magic, it has elements of hip hop, rap, there's dance, there's so many things in it. It's a visual feast.
Mm.
And it's the story of Tambo and Bones, who are on a search really to escape the fakeness of the play that they've been put in and try and find a place in the real world as two black, in this case, two black men.
And to be fair with you, that is a good summary of the play, I think. Yeah, because I don't want to say too much either, because I don't want to give anything away. But
Mm.
what attracted you both to play, well, to be in the play? Because it is it's just, yeah, such a unique play.
Thank you.
um, I was attracted by the challenge of the play, both as an actor and also like boy, like I don't
I think your
It's
signal
frozen.
is.
and that was the first thing that I was drawn to.
Do you know what, Daniel? You might have to say it again.
He's really properly frozen, hasn't
You did, yeah. You cut out.
I'll answer that one again. You want me to answer again?
he?
Yes,
We got
please.
you now. Yeah, you're back now.
All right, wicked. So it was the challenge of the play both as an actor and also within the text. I mean, it's a challenging play. As soon as I read it, I was like, wow, um, I have to explore what this is doing to me as a person. And yeah, that was why I was really attracted to the project. What about you, Rhashan?
What about me, brother? Yeah, for me, I like controversial work. I've been in a lot of controversial plays, so that was a big draw. Um, and as an actor, I'm grateful for all the work I get because in our profession, it can be slim pickings sometimes. But I have to say, in this case, not having to play a doctor or a solicitor or a firefighter or somebody's best friend hanging around in the background, the fact that it features two black artists and it's just them, it's just their story, and the writer asks so much of you. So ordinarily, if you do a job, they might say, "Oh, can you come and do a job and do a bit of rap?" Or, "Oh, can you do a job and come and sing for us?" "Oh, can you come and do?" And you get to do one little segment of what you have to offer. But I've never been in anything where the writer says, "I want you to do all of it
Yeah.
in 90 minutes," and that is like I spent my whole career waiting for jobs like this.
Yeah. And this is a great play to kind of explore everything within
Yeah.
that kind of space of time. Is there anything, because obviously the audience are going to take away so much from the play, and I think no matter where you're from or your ethnicity, there's so many questions that people are going to have. Even when I was leaving the play, you hear people like asking so many questions to whoever they're with. Is there anything that you both would like the audience to take away from the play?
Just say that question again. You just broke up a little
Sure.
bit. Just say that.
So is there anything you'd like the audience to take away from the play after they've watched?
Just to be affected, really. Just to have come and feel like when you walk out of the theatre that something happened.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
to you and for you and with you. So that when you leave, you if I was watching this, I would just my mouth would just be open coming out of the theatre. I don't know what I would say. I just be like, oh my God, that was just, and that's what I think we want for an audience.
And that's what we've had. That's what we've had as well. Like people have been processing it for days and days. Yeah, I think to add to that, I want people to take whatever that experience is for them away and process it. I don't want to dictate what that experience is because it will be personal to each person. But I just want them to come and then, decide for themselves what that was.
Yeah, no,
I mean, you heard the woman yesterday. You must have heard the woman yesterday in the stalls who was laughing so hard I thought they were going to have to carry her out.
Oh my gosh, I was like, wow.
But the pleasure that gives, not just for us as actors, but for the audience, and the audience laughing with the person laughing, she could not hold it together. And it gave me goosebumps. I was like, this is why we do it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I could hear her for sure. I think she literally was like 2 rows like in front of me, so I definitely could hear her. I thought to myself, she really is absolutely enjoying every single drop of the play, and it really obviously tickled her in a great way because she definitely enjoyed it. So the play is split into 3 sections, and I found them all super different, but also at the same time they all tell the same kind of like it's still a story but split. And I was going to ask you what has been your favorite scene to perform throughout the whole play.
You want to go, D?
I'm gonna say the middle bit. I love doing the middle bit. I don't want to give too much away, man. But yeah, each one is entirely different. And actually, for me, what's been very interesting, and I think this is similar for Rhashan, the third bit has grown and increased with an audience because we couldn't have done that without an audience. And so doing that one in rehearsals felt a little bit more tricky, but getting it into the space and having an audience there has really elevated that particular section. And it's pretty special. Yeah.
For me, I would say actually the first part, because what we can tell the people is that in the first part, we are clowns and there's a lot of physical comedy. And actually, of the 3 parts, it's the bit where Daniel and I get to act together the most. Because even though we're in the play together all the way through, the 2 characters start to diverge as they start to look for different things in the world. And so, yeah, for me, the first part when they're together, that's my favorite.
Interesting. Okay, so you both like different parts. You know what? Talking about the middle part for a moment, because when I was watching it, I thought I had a question in my brain, which was, I wonder how the rehearsal period goes, because there's obviously rapping involved in the middle part. And I wasn't sure if the rapping is a part of like, if it's in the script, or do you guys work together with the writer to kind of, because it flows so smoothly from you guys. So I wondered, is it something that you guys write with the writer, or is it already written in the script? And if it is written in the script, how was the whole process of getting the lyrics like out so easily as you guys have done?
It's nice of you to say, but it was hard. So all the words are in the script.
Okay.
So if you go and see a production of this anywhere in the world, it will always be the same words, but the music can be different. Okay. And your interpretation of how you put the rap against the music is up to you. And our director, Matthew, is a former DJ and rapper himself. So he worked with another friend of his and they created the music and the tracks that we rap to.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Because you guys flowed very good. I was like, okay, this is really impressive. I was very
Thank you.
impressed. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Was
There's
it
a lot of sweat.
Yeah, well, I'm glad.
was it difficult?
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%. Especially as we didn't get the raps
yeah.
until halfway through rehearsals. They came late in the day.
Yeah. And they're not easy raps. They're not
No.
they're not easy ABC pattern raps. They are difficult raps where you have to, they're not easy raps. So
Yeah.
Is
The
it
writer,
easy?
I don't know if you know, but the writer is a performance poet. So
Oh, okay.
the way he plays with rhythms and crosses lines and bounces things back and forth, and the rhyming structures and everything is really complex.
Interesting.
yeah, definitely.
I was wondering, is it easier for you guys to learn lines through the music side, or is it even harder because it is rapping?
I hate learning lines, full stop. Like, it doesn't matter if it's with a song, it doesn't matter if it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, imagine, like when you take yourself back to when you're revising for GCSEs or something like that, and you're just sitting there with the page in front of you, and you just look at the page, and you just have to sit there, and the information is on the page, and it has to go into your head, and there's nothing you can do. You can't cheat it. You can't. There's no shortcut. It's just homework. That's it.
100%. With the whole kind of how the play was, I felt like you guys were made for the play more than like any kind of plays I've seen in such a long time. So it was very well casted. And I just wanted to know if you guys had any input in the whole rehearsal directing process, or was it just purely the director telling you guys what to do?
Are you getting off, T? Are you
Yeah,
getting
I'm
off?
getting off, but
Are you good?
yeah.
Okay,
But
cool.
carry on. Yeah, I'm good.
I'll just start
sit
while he's getting off the train. It is really collaborative. So a lot of directors, I think, come into a process like this and they have a vision of the play, a vision of what they want to do, how they want it to do it, and that goes as well into like they cast people in a way who will give the performance that the director wants. And Matthew's an exception to that. He's a really collaborative person, and once you're cast and you're in the room with him, then we just work everything out together. Matthew makes it very much, he is there to bring all the elements together and to give us notes and to encourage us in areas that are working, to shy us away from things that don't work so well. He's our sort of reliable outside eye, but we all work together very collaboratively, which is refreshing and doesn't happen that often.
Yeah, there was a lot of autonomy and in decisions, and a lot of freedom to make a lot of choices. And I think both me and Rhashan are quite playful, so not all of those choices landed. Some of them we had to scrap, but we played a lot, we messed around a lot, and what worked we kept, and what didn't work we had to, get rid of. But it was brilliant.
Yeah, especially physically, we pretty much could try anything we wanted, which is really exciting because, one of us would do something and the other one would go, oh, well, if you're doing that, I'll try this. And then it just bounce back. It was good.
It's a pretty physical. It's a very physical play in a way, because like the amount of energy you guys have to use throughout that whole play is so much energy. So I can imagine the rehearsal periods must have been also that's quite long, like physically.
The play is 90 minutes. So when we just do it now, because the play is open, we just do the play once or twice a day. But when we were rehearsing, obviously we were rehearsing for 8 hours a day or whatever it was. So you're repeating that lots of times in one day. So this should be the nice bit now.
It should.
Hopefully.
I have a question. Going back to the topics of the play, and obviously the play tackles some very important issues, which I think really shook some people to the core when I could hear people's comments at the end. And I think it will impact no matter what race you are. And again, I don't want to say too much, but it does tackle a lot of racial issues that I've never seen done before in a play. Usually we see it done in a very typical kind of way, but this is kind of a completely different and new way. And I just wanted to know how you feel the play contributes to basically the ongoing conversations around race, identity, especially in theatre.
Yeah. You want to say that one? You want to say that one? You want me to say that one?
Go deep. Do it.
All right. I think the play is incredibly specific in its Americanness. It's inherent in the text, it's inherent in the characters, it's inherent in everything about the way that these people interact. But within that, the themes are universal. The themes of racial identity, how people define themselves, how that has been affected by other people's perception of blackness and of black people. Can you hear that, by the way? Can you hear the train?
Really?
Okay, fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah, it is a fascinating exploration of two characters' specific relationship to their identity in the most extreme way. But in that, everybody can see the struggles that they've had to face in their daily life, about them defining themselves, about them finding their identity in whatever environment they find themselves in. People putting perceptions on black people about what they are supposed to be, how they're supposed to act. Some people leaning into that. I think Bones leans into that. Tambo wants to fight against it, and both of them still end up, and the struggles within doing both of those things. And then in true satire way, it just spins it all around again and goes somewhere completely different. But yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, I would say as well for me that like the play, there's one line in the play where Tambo says, how can anyone know freedom in a world where they're always being watched? And I think that the universality of the Black experience of living in a world where you're constantly being watched, constantly being judged, where you see other people who have, as Tambo says, money and security and status, and it being treated so carelessly. I think that resonates. I think it's deep. And that's the word that people use when they come out of the theatre. You know?
Yeah.
It's interesting what you said about how it always being watched, because I was just before I was came onto this video Zoom, I saw this little TikTok thing where it says when you're a Black person, you're never really alone when you're on holiday because you're always being watched. And it was like videos of like people solo like in a restaurant, but other races just cannot help but to have a good old butchers to see what we're doing.
Good old look, yeah. And wondering why you're there and what your story is. Are you alone? Do you have money? Are you waiting for someone? Is the person you're waiting for Black, or is the person you're waiting for white? Do you have a job? You know, it's exhausting.
It is. It's tiring. Yeah. So I really hope that when people watch this play, that they, it opens up so many conversations for the good, and I'm sure it really will. I have some very quick fire questions for you both, if that's okay. So it's just the first thing that comes to the top of your head. The first one is your favourite theatre space. So it could be somewhere you've performed in or something you've watched that you just love the space.
Stratford East.
It's got to be the National for me, man. It was the first place ever I performed. Session place in the heart.
Nice. Both good venues. Favorite theatre show, and again, it can be one that you've been in or one that you've watched that's really kind of like impacted you?
Genuinely, Tambo and Bones is my favourite, but I won't say that. I'll say Fairview at the Young Vic.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. Favorite that I've watched, I'm gonna say The Brothers Side. Young Vic. Oh, damn. Sorry.
Yep. Young Vic are doing things.
Yeah.
The Brothers Side at the Young Vic.
Dream guest to watch the play. So they can be dead or alive, but someone you'd want to see the play.
Oh, the Obamas. Come on now. Call them up. Get them in.
Damn.
Yes.
I don't know. Damn.
Yes.
I don't know if I can beat that, you know. I don't know if I can beat that.
Yeah, you can, because you said there's a few rappers that you wanted to come.
Yeah. Well,
And they can be dead. Oh, you can say Common, okay.
Yeah. He has to come now because he said that.
Yeah, exactly. And he would like this.
Yeah.
And your proudest career moment to date?
That's really hard because, again, it is actually genuinely this play. But I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say I did a film. I played my first lead in a film last year called Alone Time, which is coming out. That's probably my proudest piece of work, I would say.
Amazing.
I would say, again, similar to Rhashan. I'm very proud of this. I'm very proud of a lot of the. Well, anyway, this is a quick part. We need to move on. But I'm gonna say not Tambo and Bones. I'm gonna say the play that I wrote, Canary in the Crow, that I'm adapting to TV. It won a lot of awards, won a lot of I won a lot of accolades, but the personal impact it had on people was empowering and beautiful. About that.
Nice. Okay. And my very last quick question for you is the person that has had the biggest impact on your career.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's like what's interesting. I think it's an interesting question because I think as Black actors, the person who is most responsible for our careers is us because we have to hustle it and work it and make it happen. There's not a lot of foot ups for us brown folk. But I can say I'm a writer as well, and I would say I'm most grateful to Alan Rickman because he started me off writing and encouraging me to keep going. And I still write today. So yeah, probably him.
Nice, that's nice.
In terms of informing my process, it's probably Marianne John Baptist, having had the opportunity to work with her very young. I've seen the way that she, was in a room, and the craft before that she had as American stuff, certainly left a lasting impression. And I'll never forget, we were doing a Q&A and somebody asked her what her past is. She said, I can do anything. Why do I care about that? And I was like, oh. I was like, yeah.
Well, those are really great answers, guys, and thank you so much. I honestly thought the play was great, and I think, I think there's so much change that will happen from this play. It's just super unique, and I hope loads. But I think it will sell out so quickly just purely through word of mouth, because I think once you've seen it, it will completely change your views on theatre as well, because it just shows that you can do so much in theatre, and you can tell so much of a story, or you can change people's views on things just purely through live performance. So yeah, it's amazing. So I thank you both so much, one for your time, but also for putting on such a great show yesterday. It was so good.
Thank you, appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Just going to